podcast. I am your host, Chad Bordo. Joining me, as always, is the glorious one, Marcus Green. Marcus, how are you?
I'm good, man. Should be a good show.
We are the two dynamic dudes. Oh God, now I need to do some editing. I gotta put our faces on Shane Douglas and Ace. Marcus, have you ever wanted to be a white dude with blonde hair? I can make that happen for you. It'll be terrible looking, but it could happen. I was gonna make a.
Only when yeah, actually only when I saw Mr. Perfect.
Dun, dun, dun. I was gonna make an Army Hammer joke. I was gonna say we're eating fools more than Army Hammer.
Oh man. Oh man. Jesus Christ. If he needed any other reason, people would be like, the hell?
Right?
Besides his name. Yeah.
I hope that all this shit's just nonsense, but in the off chance that it's not, I needed to get a dig in. I'm telling you, ever since the riots happened on the 6th, my give a fuck meter has broken, and now I'm just fucking spitting at people. I went after Johnny Manziel, and I landed.
Like, yeah, I don't know where your Adrian Chase meter was before, but now, whew.
Well, like for a while, I had kind of like John Wicked myself, right? I'm sending you the tweet that I sent to Johnny Manziel after he talked shit to me. I think you'll find this funny. But like, I was John Wick in this. I was out. I was done. I didn't have to fire anymore. And then the 6th rolled around. I'm like, well, people keep asking me if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. Because now it's just fucking hot take after hot take. I feel bad that I roasted Manziel as bad as I did.
Wait a minute. Fans actually, I keep forgetting how, I guess, far down the ladder he's been fell. But your name is Factory of Sadness. LOL.
Named after your career. So, just like a little context, I write for a Cleveland sports website called Factor Sadness. And, we lost to the Chiefs in a heartbreaking game. And I don't begrudge the Chiefs. I think they're a classy organization, with the exception of Tyreek Hill. Well, if you beat your child, I think you're a piece of shit. But, like, I love Pat Mahomes. He's a good dude. And I knew we weren't going to beat him because our defense is, every trash department's collective agency. We were going to get rolled, man, and I knew that. So when Pat decides to go head first into the turf and he's like, I pinched a nerve in my neck and or concussion, I'm just like, we got a chance. I didn't like to see it, and I was really glad to see him like jog off the field, but also like we had a chance, like because our defense is terrible and we had a chance. So when we lost, I was like, ugh, this is disappointing. And then Manziel starts low-key tweeting, at Cleveland fans like, lol, 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 Cleveland, and I just, man. Like, all right, we lost to the Chiefs. They don't suck. Talking trash on Cleveland in a loss like that is kind of just petty. So I fucking went after him, and I was like, hey, man, at least someone knows what a W is. And then, we kind of went back and forth. But, Marcus, I should really clarify this. The tweet I sent you was what I sent, like, the minute that it happened. That tweet has since blown up. And it kept Manziel off Twitter for 2 days. He took a serious L. Part of me feels bad because like I want him to to get his life together and get on track and be happy and healthy and all that good stuff. But man, I'm gonna send you the official notes now, just so you can kind of get an idea on how badly it went for him. Because it was not good. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Where are we at? Wrong folder. There we go.
Oh man, oh, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Finally got a chance to use it.
Dude, what we got from the Mortal Kombat photos, I'm digging it. I am. I think it's going to be an interesting flick.
I'm looking forward to. I feel bad for McCard, man. I'm like, damn, I can't even do. You can't even defend the Steve Harvey thing. It just it's just that shot.
I mean, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm Edge circa 2007. I don't see color. I'm colorblind.
Yeah, yeah. I got to make myself do it, but I get it because I get it. The stash to put some right in there with it. Thankfully, he don't have the same teeth structure, but yeah, I get it.
Sorry, I had to eat some water in me. I don't think they look alike.
To his,
Like it's kind of like Stone Cold and Goldberg. Yeah, they're both bald and goatees, but that's about it.
yeah. No, that's actually a really good uh comparison contrast. I mean, the great thing is, even with the Steve Harvey joke going into this, there's literally nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, of course, you know how when these things are coming out, we're gonna get back on track here, but you know how when these new movies are coming out, the TV side will show the old movies.
Yup.
So they went on ahead over the weekend and aired the first two back to back.
TNT or TBS probably.
Sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Annihilation makes the first one look like the freaking Titanic. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the first one's like legitimately good. Like I think it's a real strong movie. The sequel,
Like who was the UFC fighter that played Khan?
he had like one fight. I can't even remember his name. Mortal Kombat
We're
Armageddon
doing
out
it at the
here.
same time. Oh, we're doing it at the same time, alas.
He had like
Prepare for battle.
I think he had like two fights, maybe. He wasn't as highly touted as what's his face from Predators. God damn, I went to the game. Oh, it's Annihilation,
Brian
wasn't it?
Brian Thompson.
That's
There it is.
he was in an episode of Psych.
Oh, strap. He was in Star Trek?
I don't think he was in UFC.
Okay.
I know a bunch of them were in the World Martial Arts Council, the WMAC. The guy who played
Mm,
Scorpion was Chris Casamassis, the Red Dragon. I fucking love that show. Ah,
interesting.
so
Oh, yeah, but the amount of times in that movie he flipped for no damn reason.
right, like, criminy. Come on. There was a Oleg Taktarov, I think. He was in Predators. He was the big all Russian dude with the big machine gun
Nah.
who was actually trying to help everyone because he was a nice guy. Because Russians are apparently just giant dogs. They just want pets. Just pet them on the heads.
Gi- the giant dogs.
So let's talk about giant dogs. By the by, if you haven't noticed, the image on the screen for right now is a great parody of Dawn of Justice. Dawn of Justice is one of my 10 favorite movies of all time. So I feel like when we pick on it, it's out of love. So if I see a meme that makes me laugh, I'm not gonna shy away from it. But when I see someone who hates the movie making memes about it, I get perturbed. So I didn't make
Yeah.
this meme, but I damn sure made love to it. So it's Godzilla yelling at King Kong, quoting or taking lines from the movie. You were never a king. You were never even a monster. And then King Kong's all like, save Mothra, and Godzilla's just screaming like this little. Why'd you say that name? Oh man, we need to make this like a full feature length shot by shot remake. It's just fucking Dawn of Monsters, and it's just every scene possible. It's just Godzilla and King Kong replacing Batman and Superman. Then we get like a
Like
random
like
ass
I
Japanese woman be Lois Lane.
like it was like I was I was mad at first, and then I just gave in. I was like, "That's so good. I actually want that in him. Save Mothra." Just to throw it in a-hole's face who still bitch about that in BBS.
I still think it's a strong line. That's why this
No,
scene
I'm
makes me
right
just
there.
laugh.
I'm right there with you, man. Like, there's no movie that perturbs these these flat scans more than that movie. Oh
Wait
man.
until the 4 hour God movie comes out. Oh, it's going to be something, Marcus. Are you excited for four
Speaking
hours
of,
of
speaking
Justice
of,
League?
have you seen those new potential dark side images?
I think I've seen some. I don't know if those are the ones you're referencing though.
I'm like, man. Dun, 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 dun. Elvis don't stand a chance. That
All
made
right,
it
let's
was
see
song
what we
stuck in
got
my head.
here. I don't know which song you're singing, so thankfully I don't have to suffer along with
No, the
you.
Eddie Edwards theme song.
Oh, that's
Dun, dun,
baller.
dun, don't stand a chance.
That's I dig that. Just as I guess structural standpoint, maybe as a tailor standpoint, his suit cannot be comfortable to get into. I'm just pointing that out. I like those flaps could do some real cutting. So let's get on with this show. Let's hit our first topic because it's Joey Ryan. Hey Joey, how are you? He's not doing well, and I don't give a fuck.
Yes.
So Joey Ryan decided he was going to tweets, and he's been tweeting. He's been tweeting nonstop. He's trying to rehab his image, which is kind of like Hitler trying to rehab his. You know, like you did it, and we're never gonna forget it. So basically, he tweeted out on the 18th, "I have not committed any crimes. I have never been investigated for a crime. There has never been any evidence connecting me to a crime. I have never even been a person of interest in a crime. It is bizarre that some would expect me to live my life like a criminal." To it, I respond, CTE is a hell of a drug. Joey Ryan has 12 different shades of stupid. We covered all of his accusations, Marcus. He's admitted to harassing women. He's connected to forcing himself onto women, allegedly sleeping with underage women, grooming underage women, technically girls. And this man has the audacity to say he's never committed a crime. Like, this is some R. Kelly, Bill Cosby level denialisms. Maybe they could join up like a fraternity in prison. Just hang out together. Marcus, we covered all this. And I'm curious to know how you feel.
Oh man, it's to hear you down all like I could just imagine how we'll get to it talking about Hard to Kill at some point. Like in his head, there's a duplicate of him dressed up as Dr. Phil telling himself, "You're not a monster." Oh, you are. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, look, like I said, it's to hear you want to down in his mind, and I guess he's the worst type of person in this regard because he really doesn't believe he did anything wrong. Um,
He kind of comes off as the guy who fucks up and will only take responsibility if it allows him to escape some type of grander punishment. Like, if I confess, will you go easier on me? That's who he is. And quite honestly, I think these people are the worst kinds of human beings. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was some type of long con plot to hit him with a car every day of the week that starts with a T. He's a terrible person. But all he does is post half-naked selfies on his Twitter page, retweet comments about God, and then denies doing anything awful. Because I guess being a religious, pious man who still strips for the camera makes you a good person.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me he's not tweeting anymore about his manhood being a potential treat on Halloween for kids?
No, he's not. Which is
Damn it,
interesting.
I no longer have faith in pro wrestlers. God damn it.
So, beware of Joey Ryan. I'm I see him as one of those guys that if we are not vigilant, could easily come sleeking his way back into the zeitgeist, which is interesting because now there's a Michael Elgin story going around about why he actually left New Japan. Originally, it was Michael Elgin left New Japan as a free agent, signed with Impact. In actuality, according to Tama Tonga, here's what really happened, Marcus. So Elgin was working New Japan, but he told the officials in New Japan, I want to go home and spend more time with my son. So they said, okay, we'll let you out of the contract. So he then shows up on Impact Television, which causes some pause for concern for New Japan. They're like, the fuck? Then he shows up in All Japan like 2 weeks later, and Tama Tonga then goes on to say, today or yesterday, that Elgin is the dumbest or the stupidest piece of shit in the world. So there's clearly something going on, and Elgin said that doesn't make a lot of sense. Here we are. So I think it's just kind of interesting that all these dudes are, getting exposed for the pieces of cantankerous crap that they are.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny, and shout out to Tama. By the way, there's no Bullet Club without a tongue in it. But he's always reminding people of why we rock with him. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's funny. I don't think his name ever came up with this whole Speak It Out movement came in because obviously he was exposed beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Was how bad it was for him. But that was probably not too many people like going like, "Whoo!" And I dug that storm like he was doing that whole time because his name never came up. Like we haven't talked about him since what he was in Impact.
Mm-hmm.
So but I'm glad somebody's keeping his name alive because he's another person that's ducked a lot of his own BS. In terms of actual punishment, if you will, not necessarily verbal exposure, but that actual legitimate justice, if you will. So, shout out to Tom.
When it comes to Elgin, I'm still kind of I don't want to say confused because I know why he's not in Impact anymore. But there were a lot of we'll call them mid-minor allegations because I'm sorry, there is a difference between doing a crime and not believing someone did a crime. Like, there's a stark difference. So, like, when people go, well, Will Ospreay should be blackballed because he didn't believe a victim, I go, no, he needs to apologize to the chick, but he doesn't need to lose his career over not believing someone. Human nature is a fickle, pious creature. We make mistakes. It's okay. If someone came to me and, like, said, Mark is big ol' racist, I'm going to be like, fuck out of here. If I see Marcus in Clan Hood, I'm going to be like, okay, I owe someone an apology, Marcus big ol' racist. But it's not, out of the realm of possibility to think that, dude, you rode with your friend. Like, you doubled down with your friend. You picked your friend. I get it. It makes sense. People do it all the time. So, like, that to me is not a crime. But raping chicks, that's a crime. There's a difference. So originally, Elgin's whole thing was that he didn't believe someone who reported that they had been assaulted. But then there may have been something else, and I don't remember the exact details. I don't know. And then he's no longer with Impact. So he was part of the, the purging process of Impact during the Speaking Out movement. But I'm not exactly sure which reason they went with, because there was a bunch. But it's not like he was Dave Kristen people or Joey Ryan people. But like if those are 10s, or we'll say 9s, because let's be honest, I'm of the mindset that anything short of murder doesn't deserve a 10. Like you can recover from any type of abuse as long as you have a desire to. You can't recover from being dead. So that's the 10. But we'll say that what Dave Chris did was an 8 and Joey Ryan did was a 9. I don't think Michael Elgin did an 8 or a 9, but I still think he may have did a 6 or a 7, and that's still good enough for me to fire the guy. Not everything needs to be the worst possible thing to be done to a person to warrant being fired. So, Elgin, gotta go. We got another dumb fucking story on a dumb fucking take on a dumb fucking situation. I've been trying not to swear a lot anymore. Clearly, this has not been a strong week for my my rehabilitation of my language. So, another name that Daryl Banks, you are an amazing artist. I'm retweeting that. Daryl Banks created the Kyle Rayner and maybe Connor Hawk characters. I know Kyle Rayner at least. So I retweeted some covers of his stuff. I'm going to find these because these look dope. Anyway, another one of the names that kind of got the, they got, to quote R-Truth, during the Speaking Out movement was Marty Scurll. Now, Marty Scurll is in a different category because there were a lot of people alleging that he was hooking up with minors. Now, in the United States, we have generally referred to as the Romeo and Juliet law. Not every state has them, but a lot of them do. And basically what it is it's a way to prevent people from being unjustly prosecuted. If you're 19 years old and having sex with a 17-year-old, yes, it may be, that she's underage, but you're all like probably 18 months apart. You have the same brain length, the brain levels and stupidity. Like you're on the same path. Like this isn't that, no, like no one's gonna be like, oh my God, you're a pedophile. No. Like you're the same, range of emotional maturity. Like you're fine. And there are laws that protect that. Like I think it's like 3 years is the general rule of thumb. So like if you're hooking up with a 16-year-old and you're 18, okay. There's protections because you're still both dumb, stupid people. You're fine. It's different if you're 32 hooking up with a 15-year-old. And apparently that's the rumor that Marty Scurll was toe tapping around, if you will. There is one story that he partially admits to where he hooked up with a 16, 17-year-old girl at a bar where she performed fellatio on him. I don't know how much of the story he admits to, but he does admit to making passes at an underage girl with the quote-unquote, well, I didn't know she was underage. So basically, the idea is, and this is like a Dr. Philism, if you're hooking up with people in a bathroom at a bar, you're already not doing the right thing. So, what, you want a cookie because you didn't know? Nah, this is why you don't do this shit. The dumbassery of our society has gotten to the point where we no longer hold people accountable for being stupid.
Yeah.
We just find reasons why it's not as bad as you think.
With the position he's in, that's the wrong time and environment to 100% rely on an eye test.
I mean, I don't want to bring the family up like this, but I'm going to, and I don't mean this as an insult. So, like, just don't jump on my back, people. But goddamn, Brooke Hogan has looked 32 since she was 14. And I can only imagine what that chick's going to look like when she's 30 or 35. I don't know how old she is now. But
Like
like,
your mom.
oh God, that poor woman. But like, that's the that's like kind of like the whole crux. Like, I remember watching Hogan Knows Best when it was airing on VH1, and I could have sworn to God Brooke Hogan was older than me. Like, she looked like she was in her mid-20s. I'm pretty sure she's not even 30 yet. So that kind of gives you an idea, like, yeah, some chicks really do kind of pull that off. She's 32, so she's my age, give or take 2 years. So she looked like she was almost like 30, and she was 16, 17. So Marty Scurll really shouldn't have that excuse. Like, he's someone who behaves recklessly. Because here's the thing, Marcus. If you don't behave recklessly, you know what you don't accidentally do? You don't stick your peen in underage. Like, you'd go, hey, I just want to make sure we're on the same level. Can I see your ID? Oh, shit, you 16 later. Let me get you a Barney DVD and sing you a Teletubby song. I think I'm dating myself on these references. And send your ass home Peppa Pig style. Is that more relevant? Did I hit a more cultural child note with that one? But Marty Scurll isn't someone who's mature, apparently, and he's not someone who takes care of himself, and he's not someone who watches out for himself, and he's not someone who makes good decisions. So the idea that he didn't care that she was underage 100% makes sense to me. But anyway, he gets found out that he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing with someone who he definitely shouldn't have been doing it with. And, now there's more allegations that, like, it may not have just been the one time. There's a rumor going around that a certain company may have been throwing some underage at him as part of the payments. That was a rumor going around during the speaking out allegations. I want to be clear. It was just a rumor. I cannot verify that it existed. It may have been completely falsified. But he's also actually hooked up with an underage child already once before. So, I don't know. If water's wet, you can call it rain. I don't give a shit. It's still wet. So, when it comes to Marty Scurll, he's done some fuckery. One way or another, he's done some fuckery. His career's over. There's no way he gets signed anywhere. Like, Matt Riddle at least has the advantage of the woman being, of age and, admitting to having an improper relationship, consensually. So it's a he said, she said. I think he's a piece of shit. But at least on a judicial legal standpoint, he's got a case. Unfortunately, that twat nugget. The problem is when you change the age of consent from 20-something to teen-something, or something teen, all of a sudden you don't have the same kind of leeway, even if it's a false allegation, which I don't think this is. So WWE's not going to hire him because, shit, we got them to drop Fabulous Moolah from a goddamn battle royal. Imagine what's going to happen if a suspected child predator gets hired by them. So he's not going there. Ring of Honor's already fired him. Impact's already made their stance pretty clear that they're not going to hire any more people with that type of known, not personality, Marcus, known character. What's that?
I guess that potential activity in there, that type of red in their ledger for Marvel reference.
Yeah, I was looking for a specific word, but my brain is half mush, so we're just gonna have to go with what you said.
I mean, look, they skirting the line with Dream. We don't know how long he gonna be there.
Known reputation. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And you're right. They're hardcore skirting the line with Dream, and how he still has a job is beyond me. But they nearly, he was off TV for 6-7 months because of this. So, like, yeah, Marty Scurll's got a little bit more negativity on that one because at least with the Dream, there wasn't so much a physical encounter that someone has visually seen. There we go. With Dream, it was this could be him, this might be him, this is probably him, and there's enough evidence to to assume that it's him, but if you go to court, it's still not as cut and dry. So Dream kind of got off on that technicality, but people like Dream will fuck up eventually, and then we'll be like, haha. So he's not, Skrull's not going to WWE. If he goes to AEW, which, I mean, they didn't fire Jimmy Havoc for how long? So I'm not going to rule that one out, but I would hope that Tony Khan wouldn't go down that rabbit hole because they got some real big, puffy white clouds of clout from doing all that goodness with the Brody Lee tribute and signing his son to a contract and giving, like, they got a lot of positivity. I would hate to imagine that they'd be like, oh yeah, we went through this tragedy, we built up some nice positivity. Fans everywhere are appreciative of our efforts for what we did with Brody and his family. To just piss that all the way to sign Marty Scurll, that doesn't make like a lot of sense, man. So Scurll's career is over. But Nick Aldis, well, let's just say he's a cunt nugget. Cunt taco? See, I gauge my insults based off if I can make Marcus laugh. If I'm not getting a laugh out of Marcus, I know it's not working.
It's fun. I think I called somebody. It was probably. Yeah, I think I called somebody a cunt knuckle today. So
Cunt knuckle. I like that. That's not bad. I'm trying to think of like sugary childhood snacks. A twat gusher? Twat gusher it is.
Gusher.
I was thinking like twat by the foot.
All these images are getting worse in my head.
So, all right. Anyway, so Nick Aldis decides that he's going to be a twat gusher, and he goes on to say, the whole thing with Ring of Honor and Marty Scurll, I wish Ring of Honor was more professional with how they released Marty. And I'm sitting here going, Marty went 3.5 inches deep on a 16-year-old. And you're upset that Ring of Honor wasn't more professional. Well, I'm starting... Marcus, I keep saying this. Every time someone does something stupid, I start saying, man, I'm starting to understand why Triple H doesn't like these guys.
Yeah, it was interesting because we kind of just mentioned it. He's going to bat for his friend, which, look, I get it. I'll do the same for Chad, but perhaps maybe not after he outright kind of admits, yeah, so on this night I might have. And it's like, I don't know what you want. First of all, we talked about Ring of Honor can't really be caught up in another shitstorm of PR.
No.
And that's really all they were for a time. We wasn't even talking about the wrestling. It was just all the bad decisions that was being made. And not just that, it's not like he was just another guy on the roster. He was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they signed him to the most lucrative and creative contract or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That in the company. So he was a key player in that thing. So they really had to make a decision whether they would just go, absolutely distance themselves and cut loose or what. And I don't know how professional you want that to be. Then, so I get it, man, but it's like, I feel like he's advocating for something that was never going to be a scenario once, between the position that he had versus the storm that he was up against.
Again, it's one of those things that I go back to, like, with a personal reference. If Marcus or Zach or whomever does something, you can still be friends with someone if they fuck up, right? Let's just imagine that Marty Scurll really was drunk and he didn't know she was 16. And okay, not excusable. I'm not going to be like, well, that's fine. We've all been there because, homie, we haven't. Most of us go, you 18 at least? And she goes, I'm 45 and a hooker. You know this. Why are you asking? And then I just go, oh, that's right, my bad.
My name's Blanche.
My name's Blanche. Are you coughing or sneezing? I don't know. But, like, it's not a justification. But if you own it, you work on it, you rehab it, you can come back from it. 2020 was the year of Mike Tyson, a convicted rapist. Dude has never been more thoughtful, humble, mindful, respectful, because he put in the work. So I get Nick Aldis wanting to still be friends with Marty. If one of my friends fucked up that bad and they were putting in the work, I'd still be friends with them. Because it's not so much what you've done, it's why you did and how you're making right to it. How you've been trying to improve the situation that you made wrong. That's what matters in life. Now, granted, there is, a hard line of demarcation. If you cross it, you know it, and there's no coming back from it. But if this is the only instance, this drunken hookup in a bar, if this is the only instance of Marty Scurll tapping the underage keg of life, you could understand standing by him. All right, you fucked up in a bad way. But to be the guy who trashes the company, who fires the dude, who allegedly hooked up with a 16-year-old, I don't know, that's bad karma. That's bad juju. And you don't fuck with bad juju. I've seen what hoodoo does to people, allegedly. I don't know if hoodoo's real. But, like, I don't want to fuck with hoodoo. You don't want to fuck with hoodoo. Why the fuck is Nick Aldis fucking with hoodoo? Don't rep for a person who sticks his peen in underage pee. Like, what are you doing?
And maybe he's over in his mind. He's over advocating for that. Like maybe this is one of those scenarios where a friend admits to something, and you're the friend who's like, no, you didn't do it though, did you? It's like but you didn't do it. It's like you can't. If he admits to it, you can't stand in for the gap for his own logic. So it's like, and in my mind, like if you could go this far out on a limb, why don't you tell us how NWA would handle this? Since you're the guy over there. If this happened in NWA, how would you want them to handle it?
That's a solid point. But also, like, I don't know. They probably wouldn't, because, they took their sweet ass time with that whole producer nonsense from speaking out. So, I don't know. Marcus, you ever see it's an animated short on YouTube. There are two llamas. I think it's like llamas with hats. You ever see this shit?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
One llama's like all whiny, wheezy, kind of like goody-goody, and the other one's named Carl, and Carl eats people. This is how I imagine Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll's relationship. Nick's all like, Marty, you can't sleep with underage girls. That's illegal. And Marty's all like, I did not know that. What do you mean you didn't know that? There's 6 in your bed right now. And they're all holding signs saying this is illegal. Oh, I thought that meant that it was fine. I feel like that's how Marty and Nick are. And if that's the case, like, one, make it into a YouTube animated short because it'd be hilarious in a dark, macabre sense. But also, like, you need to know who your friends are. If you're rolling with a dude who's got a clan robe in his closet, that's the word I couldn't think of. Yeah, maybe you want to find out why he has it. Did he kill someone with it? Is he claiming it as a trophy? Yeah. Does he wear it on the weekend to a barbecue? Like, you want to know why.
And Nick's always come out like one of those persons who like complains when he sees, I guess when he gets in the mood and sees people complaining about certain instances, like with wrestling, and he'll like reply like they don't know the inner workings and they're like over invested or something. They just need to sit down and just watch. So if you're like the person that always like complains when you see people bringing up problems, when you become that person, you need to bring a solution.
Yep. You aren't wrong. So we should also point this out. Another one of Nick's best friends is Thom Latimer, who was accused of kidnapping a woman and holding her against her will. Because he's my best friend. La, 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 la. I'm just saying, man, you are the company you keep. Like, you are. So, like, the biggest, like, the biggest, like, counter argument to, like, I'm not a racist, I got black friends. Like, and that's fair. But I don't care if you have black friends. Who else are you friends with? Because if you're friends with a Grand Dragon, you could have 1,000 black friends, man. You still friends with a Klansman. Like, if you're trying to convert him, fair enough. Like, you all right? I'm of the mindset you can convert hate with love. I am that guy. You can do the whole Daisy and the rifle and get him to come over. I know it. I've seen it. But if you ain't trying to convert him and you're just chilling at the Grand Dragon's house, drinking some clan wisers, eating some clan seafood, and talking about how all the minorities are ruining your life, I don't care if you got 1,000 black friends. You fucking racist. If you hang out with child fuckers and women beaters, bitch, you don't like women.
It was like my best friend is Coach Boone. Well, my father-in-law is the Grand Dragon.
So just remember this. On August 30th, 2015, Latimer was arrested in Gulfport, Florida. Of course, Florida man. And charged with 2 felony counts of domestic battery by strangulation and false imprisonment. So, eventually the charges were dropped, but, yeah. He got arrested, which means there's enough evidence at the scene to at least warrant being arrested. So I'm just saying, man, like, you can be like, well, she could be lying, and I'll be like, you know how many times I've ever been accused of rape? You know how many times I've ever been accused of strangulation or false imprisonment or beating a woman? 0. Because I don't put myself in those situations, Marcus. Sometimes it's best just to go, you know what? I value my own life. I'm going to walk away from this shit.
Yeah, I mean, it also seems like to be a little bit of a pattern because wasn't he like when he was married to
Charlotte?
Charlotte wasn't there some like instances of some altercations of physicality?
There were allegations that they were a cantankerous couple. I do not know what
Yeah.
all was alleged, but it's very possible that there were, because, like, here's the thing. People who don't change never really break their cycle. If you're accused of beating someone once, you are going to do it again. Here's like that we are, less organic and more robotic than people realize. Our brains are basically just mushy pink computers. Once we get into a cycle, for whatever reason, it's who we are. Now, you can break that cycle, but it is hard. And especially if it comes to spousal abuse, one of the big things that happens is you come forward and be like, yeah, I used to be a piece of shit. No, I'm not. I've gotten better. I don't see Thom over here doing that. I don't see Marty Scurll over here doing that. I don't see Nick Aldis. Granted, he's never been accused of a crime, but you are the company you keep. So I'm just happy that none of my friends are these people.
Hey man, yeah, that's not one of those scenarios where everything's strictly business, eh? So
I haven't missed that one chick doing her terrible promos. What was her name? Valentine? Cupid?
yeah, yeah. Like we said, man, some of these chicks are A1, and then they talk.
I haven't minded Rich Swann's title run as much as some, but you say that the A1 until they talk, and goddamn the Blurs, man, they will not rep for black people just because they're black, because they dog walked Rich Swann. It was either Blurge or Jitsu. I think it was Jitsu, which is their wrestling branch. And they're like, man, Rich Swann can't even cut a promo to a fake audience. I'm just like, oh, that's second degree burns right there, and I felt it. Oh
Yeah,
man.
these are consistent, man. They've never been Swan fans. I don't know what's the particular.
You know, I don't know why they dislike him either. He had his own, allegations and rumors, but those were dropped
Yeah.
eventually. But I don't know if that, because like Moose had him, and they're fine with Moose. So I don't think that's it. So I don't know. Iron Cheeky with the tweet of the day. In this day and age, go fuck yourself. I don't know why people just like comments, man. Like I don't get that. If I see something worth like amusing, I want to share it. So I hit that
Well,
retweet
at
button.
this point, well, like I said, at this point, you can see both because Twitter wanted to be best friends with Facebook.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever liked anything. Let me see. Likes. Did I like it? Have I liked anything? When was the last time I liked something? A few things from 2020. That's only because Andrew doesn't have a retweet function. I liked something about don't retweet the president. I stand by that. Striga in December said, if you follow these four men's careers over the course of this year, Kento Miyahara and Yama Aji. I can pronounce Japanese names. Something about Alex Shelley, something from you. Doing me. So I feel like that one's fair. Let's be clear, Space Monkey Mafia. You don't need to agree with us. We're cool with that. Different slices of life and such. However, don't come in hot like you're trying to start a war. Be respectful and see how well we treat you in return. It's a two-way street. And you 100 that. And I appreciate that. Got something from Finn Balor. Something about Christmas party. Brock Lesnar versus Deku. You had a like for Deku, so obviously we liked for Deku. Something in February 2018. Since I was young, I had the husky gut, but I'm gorgeous. I don't remember. I'm taking that like away. Something about Crunchyroll, a husky puppy. That seems about legit. Something about Nerdcorp blocking you. That's us. Impact tapings where I guess Eddie got hit in the face. Nope, maybe it was something different. Then a bunch of random stuff. Yeah, nothing on our likes is offensive. Something with J.J. Watt. Yeah. Then we go from not liking it. So, all right. So we have 2018. Then we have a few in 2017. One in 2016 about J.J. Watt liking his groin massaged at the ESPYs. So that's the thing. And then 2015, like, we don't like shit. And I'm fine with that. I don't get it. I'll never rep the like squad. Like, I'm a retweet dude. That's just how I am. Anyway, let's get back to the show, because I got, curtailed. So, Impact had a big debut on Hard to Kill, and we'll talk about Hard to Kill here in a second. Marcus, Matt Cardona, the less charismatic one of the Edgeheads. He's in Impact now alongside Kurt Hawkins, and if there was ever two guys I never wanted to see in Impact, well, they both arrived. It's Kurt Hawkins and Matt Cardona. Fuck. I will never like these two fuckers. They are about as entertaining as cardboard. What is your opinion, though, on Matt Cardona joining the Impact squad?
Yeah, when I saw him, I wasn't. I was mildly surprised. Wasn't disappointed. I mean, look, compared to Myers, to me, this is an improvement. This is probably the only time we disagree tonight, but only because like he just does more stuff in the ring. Like Myers could be in the ring for 20 straight minutes, but he won't do anything that's like to me eye popping attention grabbing. He may do one or two moves, but for the most part, maybe that's his style, and specifically because he's a heel. But he never does anything for me. Some back and forth stuff and whatnot. But I understand how somebody could absolutely be 100% turned off um, by these guys. Were these two specifically the edgeheads, or was it him and? Oh, it was these two, right?
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't
Okay,
Heath
all right.
Slater. He
For
he
some,
wasn't involved.
yeah, thanks. Because I always, for some reason, throw him in there, but that's 3MB. But yeah, I mean, I guess
Racist.
there's some, there's some, I guess, serendipitous irony that these two have, I guess, come kind of full circle in a way. Uh, you know,
It's just one of those things where I'm sure people are gonna, be excited about it and whatever. I'm of the mindset that they do nothing for the product, and we could be having more matches with guys like Josh Alexander.
it's just true.
But yeah, and that's another. This needs to be said. Fuck Ethan Page, man. Like, so they did the whole Karate Man and Ethan Page at Hard to Kill. It was already going to be a stupid idea, and apparently, according to Ethan, that was their idea. But there's also a secondary point of contention that was their idea after their initial idea was turned down, which was Josh Alexander pinning Ethan Page on his way out. So the Karate Man versus Ethan was it was the secondary option. It was the backup plan. If that's true, because obviously it's a wrestling rumor, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But if that's true, fuck Ethan Page, man. Josh Alexander is legitimately your best friend, and you won't put him over on the way out. Like, come on. That's some trashness. Like, Josh Alexander is a star in the making. He might need a mouthpiece, but he's gonna be a headliner, and that would have been
Now,
such a huge
which
win for him.
real quick, which one of them actually leaving? Paige or
Pages,
Alexander?
Page is leaving.
Uh, okay.
Yeah, and that's why fucking if you put over Alexander on the way out, you do good business. But apparently, that's not what he wanted to do. Allegedly. So it's kind of one of those things, Marcus, where like you can really ruin a career or at least a reputation pretty easily, and I think he did. I really and then he bitched about it, the match at Hard to Kill on Facebook, like, oh, I wanted it to be serious because that would have been the joke. And I'm sitting here going, no, your ideas suck. No, thank you. I don't know what he was expecting. I really don't. He's like, I'm embarrassed by it. Fuck off. I've been embarrassed by your shit for the last few months. Fuck off.
I'm pretty sure they didn't come up with the Karate Man gimmick.
No,
So
they didn't. His dumbass did. Well, I never wanted it to bring it to TV. Then why'd you bring it up? Why'd you do it? That's the dude who shows up to a riot with a 50 cal, and then someone gets on the 50 cal and shoots up the building, and he's like, well, I didn't mean for it to be used. Then why'd you bring it? Like, take some goddamn responsibility for the stupid you put into this world, kid. Ugh. People are dumb. People are fucking dumb. Oh, God. I'm thinking of stupid fucking Canadians, and you know who I thought of?
oh,
Hello, ladies.
oh damn! I thought you was gonna go continue on your Jericho thing.
Oh, there's another one. Jericho got COVID from his fucking Sturgis rally, and that's the funniest shit I've ever heard. He probably killed like at least 500 people. That's not so funny. Jericho's a giant twat. What other candies from the 90s can we make fun of? Like, besides Gushers and Fruit by the Foot, like...
Everlasting Cunt Stopper.
Ooh! I like that. Like airheads could work, but like cunt heads, air cunts. That sounds like a pair of shoes,
Well, I haven't had airheads in a long time.
right?
Um,
Well, what were the sour ones? You remember the face? God, those were warheads. Do they still make those?
warheads.
I feel like I need to have some warheads tonight. Like all the warheads. I need to make my internal organs slightly bloodier. I have a thing for sour stuff, man. I tell you what. Could explain all my girlfriends. They all sour as hell. So, yeah, fuck jerk. But yeah, I saw something about Chumar. I don't even remember what it was anymore. But it's more of this like fucking dumbass MAGA fucking bullshit. And you know who else is MAGA? TJP. Did you know that?
I mean, you could just add it to the long list of like. Speaking of more stupid impact booking,
So we have to start calling him Maggot now. Instead of Manic, it's Maggot. What you talking about, Maggle? At least we knew that one. At least that one was obvious. That one's going to be obvious since the day was long. JBL's a conservative. The guy who goose stepped in Germany and kicked Mexicans out of Texas border, he's a Republican? I'm shocked. Anyway, ODB's coming back to Impact. Yay. Considering Ty Valkyrie might be done in Impact, this is a nice replacement for her. Plus, now we got some. I was about to say heavier. That's not what I was going for. More heavy hitters in the Knockouts division. You have Havoc, you have Jazz, you have Jordan. Now you have ODB. Marcus, thoughts on the return of ODB to Impact when it finally does happen? Oh, and her food truck's coming with her. So
nice. That's great. I'm glad she's really bounced back after because I think didn't she like lose one of her trucks in like in a fire or something like that? Or
yeah,
something happened?
and she specifically she tweeted about it, and Impact brought her back to do some matches to help pay her, and then they also did a fundraiser for her, and she was able to buy a new truck because of it. So
Well, that's good, man. Like it's always like seeing wrestlers have ventures outside of the business because it's just such a fickle thing, specifically when your body's the main tool. So, look, man, she's an Impact OG. She always, she's kept like a la, and then we'll talk about her, I guess, in the second one, Get Hard to Kill, like a Madison Rain has kept up good relations with the Wookiees, a la Impact over the years. So that's been cool to see. And she's come in and out, man. She's always kept herself in cool shape, and that character's never really gotten stale. And it's even more prominent now because that character is coming back in a time where it's like, ah. Um, so, yeah, man, you gotta love ODB, man. She comes in, she does her thing. She, isn't looking to crap on anybody or say anything or do anything stupid. She just kind of, does her thing and dips out. So, if she comes back for an extended period of time, that's just another name that create some good, interesting stuff in the Knockouts division right now. So
can I just bring up a possible idea here? So, Marcus, do you remember who ODB won the Knockouts Tag Team titles with?
listen to the Nick and Mo ride.
That would be Eric Young. Marcus, do you know who the first ever man was to challenge for the Knockouts title in, I think, 2008?
Was it EY?
Nope. But you're close. Giver.
Dina?
Yup.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So you got Diener and you got Young, and they're in their new Violent by Design promotion. I don't know if I like the name. It's not the worst thing ever. It's just a little on the nose. Both have a ODB component in their Impact career, and now ODB is coming back. Does she come back with Violent by Design? I'm just throwing it out there. It's a possibility.
I mean, look, I'm digging the idea. I just know that Impact has one thing I can't give them, they've done a good job of like bringing through lines of Impact historical interactions like
Mm-hmm.
to Prime Day. Like that whole like the fact that they brought Steve and Rosemary back together and stuff like that. And they if they don't bring two people back together, they at least get them a backstage segment acknowledging the history. So if Evil's backstage doing some crazy stuff, just have ODB walk up and be like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" And like he tries to tries to extend her an invitation, and then she just like, "Nope, I'm good." Bam, and then just walks off. Like tosses him with a something off a food truck, and then just walks off or something.
I could see
Oh
it.
man.
So with that being said, let's talk about Hard to Kill because it was a pay-per-view on Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday.
So Marcus' initial thoughts on Hard to Kill the pay-per-view were what?
Is I'm glad Bound for Glory finally happened. Jesus. I had to wait till a whole nother year turned around. But no, man. I mean, look, you called it. I think on Twitter probably one of the best calls on paper that you saw, and to their credit, I think they did a lot to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that match, that the countdown match with Paige and that Myers guy. Not Paige, but Alexander and that Myers guy. But everything else I saw, man, I dug pretty much everything I saw. And do think it's funny you called Paige a douche. And his impact, his lasting impact legacy is literally going out beating himself. But yeah, I mean, besides that, everything else I thought was some real high quality stuff. Even the X Division match was, which I thought was phenomenal. Horrendous ending, but aside from that, man, I thought they really did a good job of delivering, man, especially with the pivot that they had to make with the six man.
Yeah. So let's go over some incidentals before we get to that. Alex Shelley was pulled from the show and replaced with Moose. Shelley says that it wasn't a physical injury or that he's not physically hurt and that he doesn't have COVID. The only thing I can think of is that something happened in his life that forced him to prioritize his emotional and mental health over wrestling. Because he was very specific to say he did not suffer any physical trauma. So that to me makes it seem like it's a family ordeal, which fair. I'm worried about the guy and I want to know what's happening because I'm worried about him and I need to know how much worry I need to have. Like it's just kind of that ingrained sensibility. Like when you're a fan of someone, it's not about the gossip or the drama. It's about I want to know what's going on because I am invested into you as a person. It's dumb and it's silly, but it's who we are. We are a pack species. We like to know that our own is okay. I don't know Alex Shelley from a bush, but that doesn't mean I don't. I'm not worried about the guy. So I hope he's okay. He seems to be in good spirits, and he's talking about coming back and giving the good brother some receipts. So he also apologized. So I don't know again like what that's about. The other thing was Madison Rain announced her formal retirement from the company on the pre-show. She got very choked up. I thought she had a very good run as a color commentator. She was a better commentator than she was a wrestler, but I liked the fact that everyone was giving her praise because I feel like even though, like the best way to describe her career, she's the Triple H between John Cena and Stone Cold. Like her run was not good. She did not have a lot of great matches, but she was also the only one there you could rely on for the longest time besides Gail Kim. So there's respect there. She was never the best hand. She was never the most interesting character. She was never the most must-see TV. But she still grinded out some moments that made it, watchable. And her time as a color commentator, Mark, I thought was perfect. She was wonderful at it. The only gripe was that she had to deal with Josh Matthews' terrible commentary. If I have to hear Josh Matthews say, a big move, one more time, and then count a
Match.
pinfall, 1, 2, so I went on Impact.com. man, like, can you give this match some urgency? Go on, Marcus.
Look, man. I mean, look, even with she basically, staying in wrestling but not having the physical component of it. I would imagine commentating next to Josh was as physically arduous as competing night after night in the ring. Um, but to be fair, I mean, she carried it well. It's not easy to make, listening to him palpable, but she made it enjoyable because she would just, and to their credit, they played into it well, specifically as a couple, because that could have been the situation where it's like, oh, no, I don't kind of, you know, don't crap on me. But he played into it, and it probably that was the best part of him being on commentary was her. And all his years of being there, of course, he was there with Don for a while, but uh, so yeah, man, I appreciated Madison, man. I actually interviewed her uh, once. She comes off very well, and she's Superwoman in a lot of ways. I mean, the whole thing with the kid and going back to school and wrestling and whatever all at the same time and whatnot. Like you said, she was a stalwart in that company for so many years, and while she wasn't necessarily Gail Kim or anything, she was somebody reliable, unproblematic, and evolved in a lot of ways where we don't necessarily get to see a lot with women. Like some people just kind of stay stagnant, but she did little things here and there to evolve, and yeah, it's cool to see her go out on her own terms. So
I hope to God someone gets the allowance to use the jazzy hot body or jazzy fit body gimmick that she came up with, because that's one of the best underused ideas I've ever seen in wrestling. The 80s, thermal wear, tight crop kind of attire, just doing dumb fucking aerobics to the ring. Like, that's great. Oh, that's the Johnny Swinger of chick gimmicks. I need to see that now.
oh damn, I just thought about that. I'm gonna miss that show.
Which show?
Locker room talk.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, that's going to go too. Apparently, though, she got her non-wrestling dream job, so, like, cool. And I'm happy for her. Never say never. She's retired before. She's left the company before. Like, it's a thing. We'll see. D'Lo Brown and Matt Stryker became the new commentators for Impact, starting at Hard to Kill. I don't know about the D'Lo selection. I don't know how you feel about it. Like, just off the top of your head, before you even watched it, what was your initial reaction when you heard that D'Lo was going to be the color guy?
It was mildly surprised. I did it was just something I didn't see coming, but he's been in the industry for so many years. He's been with this company going on however many years now, and he's not somebody that's gonna be such a over presence on at the table that he's gonna try to overpower undercut striker. So I think in that regard he was a very good professional tenured safe choice in terms of who can somebody we can slot here that will tee up striker and at the same time won't interrupt him. So I thought I dug it. D'Lo brings a lot of no pun intended color to things in terms specifically because he also has history in the company with being a part of Aces and Eights, something I necessarily wouldn't be bragging on, but history is history.
See, you can make that joke. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
As soon as I said, "How do you feel about D'Lo being the color guy?" I even thought to myself, I might want to explain that. But if you don't know that the color commentator is referred to as the color guy, I can't help you. For me, I wasn't over the moon with the selection. I like D'Lo as a dude. Like, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
But as far as a promo goes, like, he was fired because he wasn't. Well, actually, he wasn't fired. I should reiterate that. He was demoted from a wrestler to a trainer in like '02 because he wasn't a great talker, and then they assigned him the role of teaching people how to cut promos. So he's like, "I'm gone." That's the dumbest shit ever. And it's not like he doesn't have a point. So he was in Impact for 2 years, I want to say, from like the start of '03 to the end of '04, maybe a little into '05. And then he went back to the WWE for a while. And then he came back in, I think, 2009 or 10. Then he came back to the ring in 12, I think, for Aces and Eights. But I've never seen him as a guy who's like a really good promo before. So I'm not exactly, overly enthused with him as the color guy. But also, I'm going to give him a chance because one of the things that you have to realize is chemistry takes time. There's a almost unspoken necessity between people when you're doing a show of two, where you figure out each other's cadences, you figure out each other's jokes, you figure out exactly where the other person is coming from and how to best relate to that. I know Marcus is a very nice, respectful dude who laughs at the overtop, machinations of me. Like the crazier I get, the harder he laughs. So it incentivizes me to just go more outlandish with the things I say. Because if I can get a laugh out of him, I'm doing something right. But that takes time. Like the first time we ever did a show together, I didn't know that. So you have to build that. This is only 2 shows in for them. I am not going to judge D'Lo Brown right now. On the other hand, with Matt Striker, it's A+ off to the races. This is the best idea that they've ever had, and they were like 5 years too late to do it. But I'm glad they're doing it finally. He should have been the one to replace Mike Tenay. I don't remember when he got fired from the WWE, but I'm sure it was around 2014, and they could have easily gone with Matt Striker over Josh Matthews. I don't know why they didn't. But he's in. He's the best play-by-play, best lead promo guy in wrestling. He's better than Jim Ross. He's better than Mike Tenay. Maybe not historically, but currently. He's better than Michael Cole and Todd Phillips and whoever they got on WWE television. They're all white dudes with brunette hair, so I don't know who they are. He's the best. He's better than Kevin Kelly. He's better than Ian Riccaboni. He's better than Dave Marquez. He's better than Excalibur. He's better than all of them. And Impact has him, and I'm happy. Marcus, a lot of people, for some reason, don't like Matt Striker, and I don't know why. I think it's because of his kind of personality. He does come across very cocksured, very intelligent. He knows what he's talking about. That's what I love about him, though. He does have the intelligence to do this job. And it makes the role seem elitist, and people don't like when you're elitist. They like Jim Ross talking about barbecue sauce and fruity Skittles or Fruity Pebbles or whatever the fuck he was going on about, like a fucking Jabberwocky.
I don't get that because he could probably bring something to like a Brian Miles match that'll actually make me mildly intrigued
Mm-hmm.
because of his knowledge and his take on things that we talked about before, you know. But yeah, I don't understand that. Maybe they're just trained in a way. Maybe they've been so trained by the illogical, nonsensical feeder system that's become the WWE way of doing things that they're so used to people, midway through the damn match cutting the damn network promo. Um, that they just used to the bare minimum, man. But highly intelligent. And once again, it's also great to see some of the what we got from Lucha Underground salvaged in a way because he had really become synonymous with that brand. And it's good to see him. We got him in Impact on commentary. We got Mortez in MLW. So some of that spirit still lives on. Uh, but yeah, this is probably one of the best moves they've done. I'm pretty sure Matt, not Matt, but Matthews was tired of commentary probably 5 years, you know, 2 years into it actually. But yeah, he's about there. I guess and he's producing behind the scenes now
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But imagine the most entertaining thing he's done on screen for me was the Steiner stuff. So you know,
Yeah, that should have been it. Like that right there. Like he was like Matthews is not uncharismatic. When he was doing the stuff with the Steiners and Matt Sydal, like there was something worth watching there. But he's not a good announcer. And he never has been. And he'll sit here, well, I learned the Stanford style, and I was one of the best. Saying you were one of the best Stanford announcers is like saying you were one of the best Little League players. No one's impressed. Matt Stryker makes wrestling beautiful. There's a certain, like Marcus, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and we have one of the best play-by-play baseball announcers in all of the world, Tom Hamilton. And he makes the game feel like it's this living, breathing, gorgeous entity that could envelop you in a warm hug and keep you safe and warm until the last moment of the day when all of a sudden fireworks are going off and you win because it's a walk-off home run. And holy shit. Matt Stryker does that for wrestling. And that cannot be disputed. What else he does is he figures out the best way to put over talent with nuance. I think it was either the mixed tag match or it was the women's title match. I don't remember which one. But I think it was actually, or maybe the knockout tag title match. There were 3 women's matches on this show. AEW, top that shit. I don't remember who it was, but I want to say it was. God, I want to say it was.
Drop the line, and I might be able to tell you. What did you say?
It was one woman had another woman in a submission hold, but it wasn't locked in even close, and it was like a crossface, and she's pulling back on the other woman. But there's a lot of space there, and the woman who was being placed into the submission was crawling to the ropes, and Stryker says something to the extent like, the gap between her hands and the opponent's face is what is allowing this woman the ability to crawl her way to the ropes. Like, this woman botched the hold. It was a bad-looking hold. And Stryker rolled with it. Like, holy hell. And I remember listening to that, I'm just like, this is how you know you have a pro. Instead of Josh Matthews going, will she be able to get to the ropes? She gets to the ropes. If it sounds like I'm dunking on Josh Matthews, it's because I am. He's terrible. He might know what he's trying to do, but he doesn't execute.
I mean, it just so many times it just felt like he was just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And Matt, regardless of how many times you get him on the show, you can tell this guy's a fan. This guy's into it. This guy loves the nuance and intricacies that is professional wrestling. Matthews, I'm not saying he doesn't love what he did, but I think a lot of ways he was just going through the rigmaroles of getting the job done that week, and he didn't necessarily care about how it came off. He was just hitting beats, and with his voice and his inability to call proper moves when it was obvious what the move was and he was calling something else, it just became annoying because it wasn't one-offs here and there. It was habitual. So,
That's kind of exactly how I feel. The biggest gripe with Matthews was he would never call moves, and is mostly because he probably didn't know them. And the idea that he would be so flippant with his main source of contribution to the product, it pissed me off. It pissed me off to no end. But Stryker, I've always been a fan of, and I thought he killed it on both of his first 2 shows with Impact. Granted, he's done more shows with Impact because he was doing like a backstage producer role. He's done some backstage interviews. He did the Lucha Underground Impact crossover show at the WrestleMania weekend. And him and Matthews were really good together. And I think I even remember saying, like, this is like the best Matthews has ever sounded. But, now we're in a new era. I hope D'Lo can keep up, but we'll see if that happens. So let's get to Hard to Kill. I don't want to spend too long on this because we are well over an hour. Marcus will go through the results and you can tell me your opinions. I will give my opinions tomorrow night on Making an Impact with Zach Duncan right here at twitch.tv/the wrestling twitch.tv/wrestling underground or youtube.com/the wrestling underground.
Yep. Shout out to Zach.
Yep, little Zachy boy. Zachy boy. So Brian Myers defeated Josh Alexander. You didn't see it. It was fine. I don't know why Alexander didn't win. I am perplexed.
Yeah,
First,
I don't know why you not
go on. I'm sorry.
Alexander. Alexander's leagues above that guy to me, anyway.
He has an actual gimmick. He's got a unique style. He's fucking awesome. His wife is gorgeous. I don't know what that has to do with his career. I'm just saying he's a lucky man. I think his wife is Jade Chung. Yeah, Jade Chung, who was I think on WWE television or at like old school NXT. Let's see. She was in Ring of Honor. Oh, maybe that's where I know her from. It's Ring of Honor. She was in Ring of Honor Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. I remember her from Ring of Honor because she was part of the embassy with Jimmy Rave, Abyss, Alex Shelley, and Prince Nana. Man, real quickly, did you hear about Jimmy Rave? He lost his arm.
Wait, what?
So, do you remember Jimmy Rave? He was in the Rock and Rave infection with Christy Hemme and Lance Hoyt.
Yeah.
Apparently, he had some kind of infection in his arm and it had to be amputated.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So he retired from wrestling, but I'm kind of hoping that he. I'm hoping he looks around and like, man, like we've had like 3 one-legged wrestlers. I don't want to say like that's a bad reason to retire. If you lose an arm, but like I don't think you have to, man. Like there will be a lot of people who want to step in and help this dude out. So. Let's see.
Man, God bless him.
Let me see. He tweeted out a message, so let me see if I can find it. I've been very blessed for the last 21 years of my professional wrestling and getting out to live out my dream. Today, the dream has ended, and I have a new reality. This past Tuesday, my world came crashing down when doctors found an infection in my left arm. I tried toughing it out, but by the time I saw a doctor, it was too late, and they had to amputate my left arm above the elbow. Amputate my left arm above the elbow? So I guess that means they took his entire left arm, thus effectively ending my in-ring career. I appreciate everyone who has supported me. So yeah, that sucks, man. I hate that. I'm glad but like, here's the alternative. You either get the arm amputated or you die. So I'm glad he got the arm amputated because I'd rather him, be alive. He also had COVID, so I don't know if COVID, contributed to the infection, but yeah, it's he's having a rough 2020, man. They're doing a fundraiser, so go give money to him if you can. He's had a hard life, but he's coming around on the other end, and it sucks that he had to go through 2020 like he did. Like, damn, that is not fun at all. I'm gonna send you a picture of Josh Alexander's wife, so you can realize just how unlucky the rest of us are that this man has this woman.
Does he? Does it? I guess it gives you Machine Gun vibes about his hot Asian wife, who was also hot.
Well, here's the thing. I've never actually seen Carl Anderson's wife, so like part of me doesn't believe she exists. Like I believe that she's the girlfriend from Canada. But I know Jade Chung exists. She's done some Twitch stuff with Josh and Impact. Yeah. Jade Chung, man. Josh is just fucking Christ, man. You lucky fucker. So while Marcus ogles the photo, we'll go to the first match. It's the Decay, the reunited Decay. Yay. Rosemary and Crazy Steve versus Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with a K. It now makes sense why they're doing a reunion with Decay to give Rosemary something else to do because Taya is now gone. Because she's the one who made Larry D shoot Bravo because Taya hates Bravo and wanted to protect Rosemary from him. Which is ironic because Rosemary was going to murder Bravo after she took his virginity as part of a ritualistic sacrifice. I almost got it right. I'm not going to try it again because that was pretty damn close. So, like, She did all this for nothing. Rosemary was going to do it anyway. Like, come on, Taya. What do you think of the opener?
I dug it, man. It was so cool to see the K entrance again. Obviously, somewhere Joseph Parks' brother was smiling. Um, but yeah, not only did we see them back together, but they got the win, man. That was damn good. So um, yeah, I dug it. I dug it, and anytime we get to see Kayla with a K taking L, I'm a happy guy.
I'm really happy. One, I'm happy Caleb's back. Two, I'm happy Crazy Steve's, because like Crazy Steve was kind of the also and in two different factions. You know, he was in the
Hmm.
menagerie. Remember that?
He's the lasting good legacy of the menagerie.
Yep. And the other lasting legacy of the menagerie is in AEW. You could say that she's a rebel without a cause. I hate myself. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, she okay. Yeah, she wow, I really forgot about that.
I'm like an elephant with this shit. I never forget. Um, and then he was in Decay, and while he was great in Decay, I always felt like Rosemary was the mouthpiece, Abyss was the star, Crazy Steve was the worker. But ever since he came back last year, I think it was what it was in 2020, he's really carved out a niche for himself, and I'm digging it. Like I am 100% on board with a Crazy Steve push. Like the man deserves it. He's fantastic. He's creative. He's interesting. And like everyone just loves him. Like there's no negativity there. So this is kind of a great way to start off the show. I liked it. We'll move on to the hardcore six man though. Violent by Design, Eric Young, Diener, and Joe Doring. You can really tell that this show is peppered with hardcore Canadians. So Josh Alexander, Crazy Steve, Eric Young, Diener, Joe Doring got a start in Canada. So did Cousin Jake. This Rhino got a start in Canada. I'm just saying, Impact really is flying them red and whites. They defeated Cousin Jake, Rhino, and Tommy Dreamer. First, Marcus, Violent by Design. What do you think of the name? Secondly, what do you think of the match?
Not over the moon about the name, but it don't really bother me either. I mean, it kind of almost fits right up and down with Eric Young's machinations as far as the match go. These boys put in some work in this match. It was some good stuff, man. I dug the story. Obviously, EY's the nut, but Joe Doran's like the wrecking ball, and you got um, Diener, man, being this new nut, and then constantly having to run across Jake, who is probably not going as full tilt as he could be because he's trying to convince his little brother to come back home, and it's just not working out. So I dug the story, I dug the physicality. Dreamer always does what Dreamer does, and yeah, this match probably could have went longer, but obviously we have a match to get to. But I appreciate it for what it was. It was a hell of a match.
I liked it. They really put over Joe Doring. Solid stuff. By
Yeah.
the by, I'm thinking of Abyss, and I'm wondering why the hell did they make him one of the 5 micro brawlers? Like it's Jordan, it's Doc, Eddie, and I can't remember the fourth. But
It's funny. I'm asking.
yeah.
No, I was asking that same thing about Doc, but maybe that's just because we not good brother guys.
We're not good
You
brothers.
know, we, at all. But yeah, they that was some weird. I don't know who selected the options, but I'm like, why wouldn't you just do like some other names of the active roster, do some throwbacks? I mean, obviously you're not gonna do Styles now because that would be a lawsuit, I would imagine. But yeah, why wouldn't you get? I mean, I think El was one of them. I think
Edwards was
Edwards
one
was
of
one of
them.
them.
Jordan Grace was one of them. Abyss, Doc Ellis, and then there's a fifth. I can't remember. But
Was it? I think it was Moose.
I think you might be right. You want to hear the really fucked up part? So obviously the Abyss one sold out. The Doc Gallows one also sold out. So the two that don't make any sense to us are the two more popular ones. So I was thinking about buying one, but they're like $20. I'm like, wait, what?
For a plushie, come on, man.
I don't even think they're plushies. Like I think they're like little pieces of plastic, like kind of like the old WWE action figures, like from way back in the day. I
No.
think that's kind of what they are.
Oh.
And I was like,
And then man,
I wouldn't mind rocking an Eddie.
I'm like, look, you guys want to make some money. Me and Tab been calling for the longest now. Find a way to get y'all damn championships back on that website, man.
Right? I'll buy a 2007 TNA championship. Then I'll drive down to fucking New Orleans or Louisiana, Baton Rouge, my apologies. Knock on the door, slap you in the face with my belt, and then run off because I just turned heel. If Jim Ross ever does like one of those like fan service recordings, like well, all I'm gonna do is Baka, he betrayed him, he broke him in half, and then like you're gonna hear it and you're just gonna look at me like, really? You wasted $200 on
I
that?
don't know.
Slap you with the belt, run away, woohoo!
Yeah, you talking about cameo. I don't know how guys like uh DiBiase and Stone Cold and other people aren't doing stuff like that.
Right?
I don't
Oh
know.
my
Like
god.
Jake the Snake could be making a killing right now.
So like that's the thing. Like if I could get Stone Cold to do something like that, or oh my god, that's the bottom line. Actually, I'd rather have Shark Boy because that's the fishing line. Because Shark Boy said so. So we got Fire and Flava, which is a great name. I love it. Like we talk about how some of these
Yep.
names don't work. I love it. But the best part is they're doing a Fire and Flava Fest on next week's Impact. But do you know what that's in reference to?
Well,
Do you remember like 3 or 4 years ago, a bunch of like millionaires tried to host like this really hoity-toity concert experience on an island called Firefest?
oh yeah. I think was that also song with the rapper Ja Rule was a part of and it
Probably.
tanked.
Yeah, that sounds about right. People were getting like pieces of bread
People got
and
scammed.
cheese for food.
Yeah.
Yep, it was not good. I'm hoping that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, look. You talk about chemistry coming together. These two young ladies are perfectly in sync. I am so happy for Kiera. We've been talking about her being on the come up for the longest now. Tasha Steelz was severely underserved in NWA, and now she's getting her just due. And these two together, man, and like like I said, man, it's the perfect combination. And this was the ending I was hoping for with this tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and we got it. So and that handoff from the Legends was great.
Yeah, the match itself was fine. I'm not a big Havoc
Yeah.
or Navia fan, but the handoff from Madison and Gale, they weren't the first. I think the first were Hamada and Sarita, if I remember correctly. No, it was Taylor Wilde and Sarita, I think. But this was a nice gesture, and the best part was, it didn't even happen on the show. Afterwards, Madison and Gale give them the belts. So Tasha goes on Twitter to be like, hey, Sarita, Rosita, and Taylor Wilde, because Sarita is tag team partners with both Taylor Wilde and Rosita. If you want a shot, come get some. And Diamante, who is dating Kiera Hogan in real life, won like some kind of like medal or ribbon or some bullshit on AEW television. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so you're not I'm not the only one who doesn't watch AEW that often. And like apparently like she said something about like this ain't no ribbon or something like that. So fucking Kiera Hogan or not Kiera Hogan, Diamante chimed in like you won't disrespect my accomplishments, and Tasha Steele's like bitch please come get some, and I can just imagine Kiera Hogan going, oh will you two shut the fuck up. Oh, could you imagine being in that situation? Oh my god. I want to see that play out now. I want to see that play out definitively on television.
Hey man, that's a rock and a hard place. I wouldn't mind being in the middle of. You dig?
There are worse places to be in this world.
Exactly.
I'm looking to see if I can't find because I think I retweeted it. Maybe I did.
Holy hell! It's R Truth's birthday.
What is he? 102? Looks like 24.
Uh, no, that's just how many times he's won that damn belt. Um,
Oh, it's a thing. It is definitely a thing. So let's see. I'm scrolling through Tasha Steele's line real fast, see if I can't find it. Let's see. 'Cause she was talking about, should I get petty? Okay, here we go. Yeah, it was Diamante. Yo ass gonna have to cash a huge check for that mouth you like to run. Ain't even been 24 hours and you talking big talk, shaking my head. And Tasha replies with, I've been talking big prima. Don't know why you acting brand new all of a sudden. I talk big shit because I can back it the F up. We can go on and on, but I currently know where you are, so let's quote unquote talk about it. So, this is the thing. And I think they're both Dominican. No, I don't think they are. I think Diamante's Dominican. No, hang on, I'm going to Google the flag. Dominican flag. Who's who? Neither, apparently. I don't know where these flags are from, Marcus. But there might be some cultural issues here as well, because a lot of the island nations in the Caribbean don't like each other.
yeah, because I know Steels calls herself the Boricua badass.
Yeah, Steele's is definitely Dominican, because that's the Dominican flag. But I do not know what this flag is, so I guess I'll just Google Diamante. Diamante wrestler. Let's see. Cuban. She's Cuban. Okay, so yeah, that tracks. Still don't like each other. It's like Italians and Greeks. Like, we're the same fucking thing, but we don't like each other. They got this thing with lamb. I don't know. Cucumber sauce. They're fucking weird, man.
You like, I'm Hawaiian, like I'm Honoluluan, Holmes. Like what?
What was that from?
Oh no, I just made that up.
No, there's a movie that actually did that. Like, was it fucking Forgetting Sarah Marshall? I think that's what it was. I think it was Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Anyway, back to the show. We are dragging our asses on this review. Matt Cardona defeated Ace Austin by DQ. Obvious that was going to happen. I'm not sure Cardona was the big surprise people thought he was going to be. Like, whatever. We already talked about Cardona's debut. How did you feel about the match with Ace Austin? For me, I kind of saw it as an obvious, resolution. They're not going to have Ace Austin lose to a new guy. This is a company with some competent booking. But I also didn't think that they're going to have Cardona lose in his first match, so obviously a DQ finish was obvious. Do you agree?
Yeah, I was. It's funny because I actually you fell on my mind doing this because every time we see Ace, we see Fulton. I just kept thinking to myself, they really doing with cousin Jake what they should have did with Fulton.
Yeah, they really are. No one really likes Fulton. Maybe they do. I don't know. I shouldn't speak for everyone. But, like, we want Cousin Jake. We like Cousin Jake. He's a hell of a hand. They got to make him more than just Cousin Jake. I like the Big Filthy. Do you like the Big Filthy moniker that he got?
No, I dig it. I think they're fine. I think once they get him over this, like I can get Diener back thing. Like once he just snaps and tries to kill him, then I think he'll get over the whole being the cousin thing. Kind of, I guess, maybe in a lot of ways like what we got with Shira.
Oh, God. Where's he been? That's a thing. That's a thing that I haven't seen in a while, is Shira. I really think that Jake should have been the one to win the Impact X Division tournament thing. That's just me, though. Let's see. So Heather Monroe's was tweeting out during the show, and there's a whole thread about the Jake something Jake cousin Jake 6-man tag. So she goes, "I'm here to see cousin Jake get his revenge. Oh no, Dreamer right on that barricade." And then she says, "These guys are beating the crap out of each other." And then after Jake goes through the two chairs, she tweets out, "Rip Jake something," because that's his handle on Twitter. And so all Jake something replies with is a Bart Simpson gif where he wakes up in his outside of his body going, "Hey, cool, I'm dead." Oh, cousin Jake, you are a prize. Anyway, Manic defeats Chris Bay and Rohit Raju. Any thoughts on the 6-man tag? Not the 6-man tag. God damn it, triple threat. Things are hurting.
I dug it. Anyone but Manic, man. Like I'm just good on that, man. Not just the whole thing of they're like, oh, the whole thing of him being Manic or not. That was never the storyline. Nobody gives a damn. Just leave. Just leave, man. Like, my whole thing. It just got to the point where I like they're just gonna let him keep it, aren't they? So, but it was a good match regardless. But horrible result, man.
He's got that MAGA pride. I did like the finish. Like, that was a nice finish, but still. We then had Deanna Praza versus Taya Valkyrie via submission. This was a good match. I agree with you that the ending was... but I still think it was a damn good match. I think Deanna is slowly coming into her own because you got to remember, she was an NXT chick. Like, she was like nobody. She did the indies, she did the rounds, but then she kind of got forgotten about. So she had to rebuild her identity and her general ideology as a wrestler, and she's doing a great job with it. And I think she's locked up for 3 years in Impact. So, hell yeah, brother.
I'm slowly falling for Deanna, man. She's come a long way, and she's really not even that deep off into her career, and she's really found us, have been able to hone her creativity and things with this virtuoso gimmick that we saw small buddings of in NXT, but obviously they dropped the ball with it. And I just feel like she's full creativity mode, and it's good to see this once again in the knockouts division, and this level of importance and care taken into it post Tessa. So I think she's doing a great job, and shout out to Taya for giving the new breed the tip of the hat, if you will. So it was a good match. I'm digging stuff with Deanna. Doesn't seem like she has any steep competition on the horizon right now, but she's doing a great job, man. And the fact that she's leading the division and playing support roles and stuff, like with this whole new Susie thing, like we're in phase 3 of Susie, like it's crazy. But and then also backing up I'm blanking on her name.
Kimberly.
Kimberly. I think it's great. She kind of actually got her own little trio faction right there. So, she's pulling in a lot of good weight, man.
So, remember how Brian Myers had like that 2.5-year losing streak or some bullshit?
Yep.
Well, Impact just tweeted out Myers Wrestling, Brian Myers, picked up his 7th consecutive singles victory on Impact tonight. So, that's the thing, apparently. So, guess we're going to have to live in that hell. The Karate Man defeated Ethan Page via murder. Literally says that on Wikipedia. I kind of love that. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to just move on. Barbed Wire Massacre, my main event of the evening. I don't care about your main event. This is my main event. This was brutal, but not as brutal as I was expecting. I was hoping they would do the Barbed Wire Massacre setup. With the ropes being replaced with just barbed wire and just being a blood fest. Because that's literally, I don't care who says what about whom. I'm the arbiter of what is truth in this world, so you will obey. The best and most obvious reason why Santana and Ortiz ever got over before they were side pieces for Chris Jericho's Scofflaw gang was because the goddamn Barbed Wire Massacre that was so hot for TV, they literally had to air it on Twitch, and it was, oh my god, so good. I'm pretty sure this was the match where they jammed the little sticks in Homicide's head. It's fucking brutal, man. And the OVE got over on this match. God, that was a good match. So I was a little disappointed that we got the setup, but it was more of a Clockwork Orange House of Fun Raven style match. So I was like, all right, that's cool. Either way, hell of a match. Match of the year contender, in my opinion. Marcus, what do you think of it?
No, it was good, man. This is how you cap off a long running feud that's been happening for how over 2 years now, maybe
3.
longer. It feels like. Yeah, I was trying to say it's longer than that. So man, to reach a point, and kudos again to somebody like Strike on commentary, and even before that, going back and talking about in the triple threat about the fact that Rohit has really carved out his own path coming out of the Desi Hit Squad as he is now the Desi Hit Man. But bringing up the history between, I think this may have been Delo's. Like, look, man, you have feuds that extend this long. You have to, this type of match warrants, um, or this type of feud warrants this kind of match. So, he was like, I'm not opposed to these hardcore type of matches when, it's built up to, and he's absolutely right. And I think my favorite moment of the match was when they got each other's signature weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That was some good stuff. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily like Kazan McCallahan, but this guy never ceases to amaze me with like just the lengths he'll go to in a match, and just all the crazy and wacky stuff he'll do. The only thing that kind of, I guess, it's made me scratch my head, and I think you're a person like this too. I'm like, you're chopping him and you're hitting him with this barbed wire bat and whatnot, and he's got on a damn vest. And I was in California, I'm like, dude, he's got on a vest, and you're chopping him and you're hitting him with this. I'm like, dude, they just. I wish he would have like made it a point to open up the damn vest. We've seen him before,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that's a gripe for what they did with this match. They literally tried to kill each other. So and Edwards got the win.
I don't have
Praise Edwards.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't have a problem with the chopping of the vest. My problem is selling. Like if he's gonna chop your chest, just stare at him like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Eddie? What are you doing? I do have one other gripe, and a more sincere one is I don't like that they build this as the end of the rivalry. How I would have done this is like had them both get bloodied up pretty good, fake or real, I don't care.
Yeah.
Dealer's choice, and like have like the paramedics in there, and like have like a very hushed tone, like Eddie pins him, and then the paramedics come in and Lish is crying, and neither guy is moving, and it looks like just like 1,000 virgins had their first period in the ring, and they get hauled into the back, and like there's as they're getting hauled into the ambulance, Sammy leans over and goes, "We're done, but it's never gonna be over," and just like lays back down, and Eddie will just say something to the effect like, "I don't want it to ever be over. I want to fight you until I die," or something like that. Like, because the thing that makes wrestling compelling isn't a hot angle. It isn't a new angle. It's one that's crafted through years of interwovenness. The only reason anyone thought the Undertaker Shawn Michaels matches were any good, I think they're fine. I don't think they were as good as people want to make them out to be. That's a personal opinion. You're allowed to disagree. But what made that difference was the history with Shawn and Taker. They had a history going back to the mid-90s. Same thing with the Hell in a Cell match at 28 with Triple H and Undertaker. That was only as good as it was because of the history. So the idea that you would ever try to end something that works is about as sensical as, I don't know, driving a hammer into your toe for fun. I hope this isn't it. Don't let it be it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, they could have good Impact version. I'm one of these days I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna have two type of deals, which is one of our collectively favorite things from the WWE. But yeah, I don't think it's over. I don't really think it's ever gonna be over. I think Callahan is always gonna be the craw in Eddie's goat, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still trying to figure out, and I hope they do something with this. How in the freak did he get Ken Shamrock to be his lackey? Like, I'm still trying to figure this out.
It's like that line from the popsicle the sucker commercial the fucking owl, the world may never know. How,
Yes. It's like,
it's how many licks from
uh,
like a twisted pop or something like that.
yeah, Tootsie Roll Pop.
Tootsie
Yeah, the
pop,
world may never
tootsie pop.
know. Yeah, because it wants it to be like, man, one of you that are gonna kill you, gonna have to, and then Shamrock should be rolling up. I'm gonna kill both of you. Like that's how it should be. But instead,
Uh,
Shamrock somewhere sipping a Mai Tai, looking at a Sammy Callahan poster.
like Dexter in Dexter's Laboratory.
Exactly.
So main event: Omega, the Good Brothers defeated Rich Swann, Chris Sabin, and Moose. Currently, AEW has a 2-0 lead on Impact, which I am. Well, did the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega win on AEW?
I gotta go back and see, but they likely did. I
Okay,
wouldn't be
so maybe it's not
surprised.
2-0.
Maybe it's not too bad. I mean, it was a hell of a match. I dug it, and it's funny because the pivot they had to do probably ended up working out better
Mm-hmm.
to me, just because of the continuous momentum of moves. Like nobody has more momentum right now to me, in the company. Even with Swan as champion, that moves like everything about Moose is clicking on all cylinders. Some of those shots on his entrances are just sick. This is the best shape I've seen him in his entire career. Like that, like literally, this is the first time I think I've ever seen him with abs. Um, and yeah, man, it's just I think it ended up working out better because Swan was like, hey, he told him, ain't no way in hell I'm finna team with this fool, and then threatening before the match, like you pull any stunt, I'm gonna go off on you. So, and then of course he beat his ass after the match, but yeah, that whole what he did Spanish fly with the tie rope, which I'm glad they stuck because that could have went left,
Yeah.
and yeah, these boys they went balls to the wall with this, man. Like I appreciate it. Like I think everybody kind of understands what this means for these companies to be working together right now, and be doing what they're doing, even with like you said, Impact kind of you know uh, getting the lesser end of the stick in certain instances. But I think the performers know what's going on to the fact that like it didn't even dawn on me tonight. That private party was gonna be coming to Impact, which would bring Matt Hardy back to Impact. Like it didn't even dawn on me. So it's cool stuff like that. That's good. But Impact gotta start winning some of this stuff.
I agree. The one thing I will say about the Moose edition, his involvement with the match made him seem like a star, and Kenny's selling for him. You don't always see that. So not necessarily against Kenny, but I mean in general. Like there are times when guys won't help make someone. Kenny did, and Moose. It wasn't just it wasn't just Moose getting some rub on Kenny. That was a great thing Kenny did for Moose, but Moose showed himself in the entire match to probably be the most impressive of his team in that match. He brought a physicality that they didn't have. And Stryker worked that in seamlessly into the verbal storyline. And Moose ended up walking out of Hard to Kill a bigger star than he ever was beforehand. But I also think part of the reason why that worked is simply because of the fact that he cut that promo with Sabin and Swan where he said, from bell to bell, I will be the best teammate you've ever had. And when Swan goes like, why should I trust you? Moose basically just says, because I don't have a reason to lie to you. And like that whole like I am the man of my word. Oh, that was such a great wrinkle. And the problem with wrestling is you have too often guys who scream and yell and snarl and try to be snarky and witty. But in most cases, when you get over it's because you get over because you're earnest. And Moose has slowed his cadence down. He shaved off his goatee. He's speaking very deliberately. And it makes his promos have so much more impact, no pun intended, so much more ambiance and so much more, verbal physicality to them that when he speaks, even though he's not the best talker because he does have, a little bit of a mushmouth syndrome going on, I can relate, but he works through it and it comes across so authentic and it makes him so magnetic as a personality that you're just captivated by what he's saying, even though what he's saying isn't that original. It's not a Sting going, I'm the Stinger and I'm not done yet. He didn't hit us with any original lines. But when he said, I will be the best partner you've ever had from bell to bell because I'm a man of my word, damn, that ain't bad. It's not a great line, but the delivery was fantastic.
Look, man, Jake the Snake made an entire career out of monotoning people into believability.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
He ain't bad. He ain't bad. So real quickly, there's a guy who does photography for Impact. His name's Basil Mahmoud. He got Deonna Purrazzo to twerk after her win.
Yeah, I saw that. I just wanted to, I was mad because I'm like, that was a photo. I wanted to see video of this.
I mean, there might be, who knows?
Yeah, so it was like the right kind of thing. So,
Marcus is so salty right now. Oh, he's a salt mine under Lake Erie. Literally, there's a salt mine underneath Lake Erie. That's where we get our salt from to drop on the road. All right. Overall grade for the show, Marcus. What are you going to give it?
Look, man, I'm going to give this show a B+. Good stuff, man.
I'm going to give it an A-. I agree. The X Division is lacking star power, and I think that's what's holding it back. It's not lacking great matches. Rohit's being built up. Chris Bay's being brought up. But the idea that TJP's the quote-unquote star of the division or the worker of the division, the ace of the division, what do you want to call it, is an awful idea. And they need some real bodies in that division, like some names in that division.
Absolutely. He's dumb. The storyline around the Manic stuff is dumb. I actually wanted them to sign those two guys from that the X Cup tournament.
I mean, they might. Like, who knows if they have? Yeah. They might have.
Yeah, but they definitely need some new additions to bring somebody in. Don't bring nobody back. We don't need to see no Aries or nothing like that back. But yeah, you got the wrong person leading the thing. You either go with Bay or you put it back on Rohit. I'm hoping it's going back to Rohit. But yeah, man, like that's not the move.
So the thing that I think would help is maybe not an Austin Aries, but someone who has some legitimacy in that division, or someone who could be legitimate in that division. Like for this, off the top of my head, the Pope. I think that would be like a great addition. It would bring some notoriety to the division. It would bring some name value and name brand to the division. And I think that's what it's missing because, these guys are facing each other, and that's fine. But when you're building X Division stars, because Jerry Lynn was back on TV, so perfect point of reference, Styles didn't beat Kazarian to win the X Division title. Styles didn't beat Matt Bentley. He beat Psychosis. He beat Juventud. He beats, maybe not Juventud. He beat Psychosis. He beat, I think it was, who was the four? It was Low-Key, Styles, Lynn, and Juventud? Not Juventud, Psychosis. I think that's what it was. Psychosis, Lynn, Styles, Low-Key. And then his first big one was over Jerry Lynn, and then Sean Waltman got involved. They built the X Division up by, using the names to build up the young stars. Now we got the young stars. Well, Rohit's 38, but, youngish. But they don't have the name brand. They don't have the name value. You need someone for Chris Bay to beat. You need someone for Rohit to beat, or the young X Division guys to beat, or Crazy Steve, or Jake, cousin Jake to beat. TJP is not the name. I hate to break it to you. He's the worker that the name beats. So that's what I think. But I agree, not Austin Aries. Never Austin Aries. Never again. That's my point of view. Real quickly, before we go, I do want to ask Marcus. I don't know if he's even going to be ready for it, but assuming he is, would I'm about to call him Rich Swann, holy hell. Would a Kofi Kingston Mustafa Ali match at WrestleMania be as good as it should be, or am I doing the whole Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley thing, trying to will something into existence that I know will probably suck?
Yeah, I don't have any doubt that the match itself is just that where those two characters are. Because poor Mustafa, man, with this damn, I almost called them the Forgotten Sons, but they might as well be. Um, I think that could be a show stealing match. It's just like the storyline and where the characters are, you know. But I think that could on paper that's probably your best match of the night or any show.
And like that's the thing. Like if we were booking it, it would be great because there's so much history already involved in it. You have the fact that Kofi replaced him in a title match at WrestleMania, and Mustafa cut a pretty decent promo talking about that. So like, you have this tailor-made great angle that you could have been building up to for years, or months, I should say, at least a year. No, 2 years, because we're heading into WrestleMania. Kofi didn't win it last year; he won it the year before. So yeah, years, literal years, and you pooched it. Like you could have made the whole Retribution thing about getting revenge on Kofi. Holy hell! I just made that a good idea. Why are we not employed by this company? Why are we not running this company? I could make this company so much money. It's fucking stupid.
I could just see a bunch of women being called in Chad's office and being instantly fired, though. And then somebody yelling about discrimination.
Wait, why would I fire all the women? Well,
No,
I'd
just
fire
two
the blonde
Samoans,
ones.
quote unquote, specifically.
I would fire some of the blonde ones. We're going in a different direction. A more multicultural one. I
Like we
can't
need
deal with
like
the 13 Charlotte Flair clones. I can't.
over the intercom, we need majority of the blondes and specifically the two Samoans.
Dana Brooke, you may stay where you are. Dana's like, wait, am I getting fired? No, everyone else is. Oh, and by the by, I need to say this. Fucking Charlotte Flair. I cannot stand this woman. And it's the victim complex. Marcus, if you told me you were going to put a meat suit on, a suit made of entirely raw meat, and you were going to go running through a dog park, would you be mad at the dogs who flocked to eat your meat coat?
Of course not. Dogs gonna.
Dogs gonna dogs.
Dogs gonna. Yeah, dog gonna dog.
If you walk into a busy highway and you almost get hit by a car, is it the car's fault or is it your fault?
What is she complaining about that horrendous moonsault?
Nope. If you take everything your father made famous and take it onto yourself, and then people call you your father's daughter and that you will never escape his shadow, should you be mad that they're right, considering that's literally what you've been doing? The flairdacity of it all, that Charlotte Flair would literally take everything that her father made famous for, take it unto herself, and then have the gall to say, I'm more than Ric Flair's daughter. Bitch, no you not. Your entire gimmick is I am Ric Flair's daughter. You have the name of the city that he lives in. You have his last name. You have his finisher. You have literally his robe. You had his entrance at WrestleMania. What don't you have?
Yeah, part of his theme and your music.
You both enjoy going to the top rope and doing dumb shit? For Ric Flair, it's being thrown onto his bad hip. For you, it's doing dumb shit to the floor. Like, you are literally the same person. You both already have failed marriages. I'm just like, you are literally your father. You were both in WCW, granted for like 2 episodes.
Man, it's you wrestle for your brother, God rest his soul, and your entire character is an ode to your father. Just like we get that you're blazing your own path, but your own path.
One, she's not. She's blazing her father's path if her father had a vagina. Same path, just different genitalia.
Oh God, that's such a different space mountain. But keep continue.
Transition mountain. I don't have a problem with her doing that. I have a problem with her bitching about people pointing out and then having a problem with it. Don't get pissed if people point out exactly what you're doing. Embrace it or change. Like this is that fucking argument. Like every time you got that dude or the chick, they're always like, "Oh, I can't find a boyfriend because I sleep with them on the first date and I don't have anything in common with them and I always go after the wrong guys." But why are guys always the douchebags? I was same argument for dudes. I know plenty of dudes who date chicks that they should not be dating. I've lost a friend because I kept telling him, "You are dating women that you know are unavailable." What the fuck are you doing, idiot? So it comes down to this idea that I say all the time. If one person calls you an asshole, that person's an asshole. If 2 people call you an asshole, those people are assholes. If 3 people call you an asshole, maybe you're the asshole. Charlotte, I'm starting to think you're the asshole.
What this reminds me of? You remember when it's like DBZ abridged when they they spent both the coolest movies basically having people call them Frieza.
I mean, you're not wrong. She's the cooler of the Flair family. No matter how many WrestleManias she gets, no matter how many titles she's given, we will still just see her as Ric Flair's daughter. And to be fair, there's a good fucking point of reference, that she's only getting these spots because she's Ric Flair's daughter. She's not moving the needle. She's not, transcending wrestling. She's not in 1,000 different pieces of entertainment. No one's knocking on her door to do movies. So, yeah, there's some legitimacy in saying that she is where she is because of her last name. Look at Bayley. Look at Banks. They're not on her level in terms of, notoriety and promotion. Yet they're far more popular. Sometimes you are there because of nepotism, and sometimes you don't deserve it. I'm not someone who thinks Charlotte Flair is a good wrestler. I mean, granted, I also don't think you need to be. I think that's kind of like a contrite a point of reference, like, oh my God, so-and-so can't wrestle. Yeah, but that bitch can sell. How many seats you packing? That's all that matters. Charlotte ain't packing seats. Even COVID era, she ain't packing seats. Because whenever they announce her matches for Raw, they don't go up in ratings. So,
She didn't do nothing for NXT when they put the belt on her and shat all over Rhea Ripley. She's still haven't fully recovered from that.
Yep. You ain't wrong. All right, so we're done. We're out of time. I'm out of energy and topics. Marcus, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we sign off for the night?
No, man. We've exhausted the well.
It is dry. RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. Go check it out. We're on Twitter at NERDCRP. We're on Instagram at RealNerdCorp. Marcus's Twitter can be found on Twitter, obviously, at the handle Paradox Kid, PARADOXKID. He's rocking the Goliath photo these days. I like that. I like the
man.
Goliath photo. I already told you I'm a Brooklyn fan. What was the little one? Lexington? I liked him too.
Yeah. Lexi came off like a little gliding lizard, but I like Lex, man. Lex was the peacekeeper.
He was also the only one that had, I guess you could say, webbed wings, because everyone else had their own set of wings on their back, but Lex's were attached to his his ankles and hips and hands.
Wait a minute! Shout out to all my Land Before Time people. He reminds me of Petrie.
Oh, I loved Petrie. Fuck those movies. The only 2 characters I ever showed up for was Petrie and Ducky. Oh, they were the best.
Uh,
They were the
you're
best.
about to get us killed. You're about to get us killed. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So you can also find Marcus on the other podcast, The True Penny Show, on Twitter at TruePennyShow. Go check them out. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerdCorp. I was about to say .com. There's no .com. I'm also on Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. There it is. ChadSPHOTOHUT. Find us on YouTube at youtube.com/The Wrestling Underground and on twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. And you can find us on twitch.tv/Real Nerdcorp for our other side of podcastings, as well as on YouTube by searching Real Nerdcorp as well. That's everything we got. Mark and I will be back next week. We didn't do the WCW thing, thankfully, because we had no time to fit it in. So we will do that next week. We were going to book a card of all active WCW stars. This is going to happen. I'm willing this new existence. It's going to be awful. Oh, I can't wait. But until then, we're done. We will see you next time. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night, 9 p.m., Making an Impact for me and Zach Duncan, as we talk about tonight's episode of Impact, as well as more Hard to Kill reviews and any types of news that may have come out, especially any updates on Taya Valkyrie's contract status. That's tomorrow, 9 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 p.m., right here, twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. For Mark Stream, I'm Chad Porto. My throat is hoarse. My mouth is dry. I am done. Take me to my throne. Mark Stream, take us home.
Good night, meat.